वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतां श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साधुजातां सहितं सावधूतं सावधूतं परिगणं सहितं कृष्णं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सहगणा श्री नमो विष्णु पादां कृष्ण पृष्ठाय श्रीमते भक्ति स्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारि निर्विशेष सुदेवी पाशास्ते विष्णु प्रेमदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री अद्वैत श्रीवासादि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण. So yesterday we discussed and we started the chapter number 16, and we discussed first three verses, the divine qualities which Krishna is speaking in first three verses. So now we'll continue from text number 4. And also we discussed the division of the chapter. So the text 1 to text 9, Krishna will describe about divine and demonic natures or qualities. And then text number 10 to 18, Krishna will talk about the activities of demonic. So now we'll go to the text number 4. Before going to 4th, in the last paragraph of the purport of first three verses, which we discussed yesterday, this is how Srila Prabhupada, he concludes. All these 26 qualifications mentioned are transcendental qualities. They should be cultivated according to different status of social and occupational order. So we discussed that how Krishna first spoke first three qualities of sannyasi. Then he spoke the quality of drasta. Then he spoke the quality of brahmachari. Then vanaprastha. Then brahmana. Then kshatriya. Then vaishya and sudra. The purport is that even though material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all classes of men, then gradually it is possible to rise to the highest platform of transcendental realization. So actually, by nature, everything in the material world is degrading. But if a person is trying to live his life as per the scriptures and is trying to cultivate these qualities, being situated in particular varna and ashrama, then he can elevate himself. So now Krishna will talk about the demonic qualities. Dambo, darpo, abhimanaccha, krodha, paurushyam evacha, agyanam cha vijatasya, parth sampadam ashurim. So pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of Pritha. So one important word in this verse and in the previous verse also is abhijatasya. So abhijatasya means one is born. So Prabhupada is translating abhijatasya as of one who is born of. The same word also, abhijatasya, here, abhijatasya. So what Krishna is saying, that actually people are born with divine natures and people are born with demonic natures. So depending upon the kind of association we have, if a person associates more with mode of passion, more with mode of ignorance, then naturally he develops his second nature of that kind. And then when he takes birth again in his next life, then he carries the same nature. And it is not very easy unless he works on it. Over lives, if he continues same nature, then his demonic side increases more. But if he is cultivating divine nature, then his divine side increases more. That's why we see some childrens from their very birth, they have divine qualities. They will respect everyone. They will be very gentle. They will fear to speak lie. They will be trying their best not to hurt others. Whereas we will find there are some people by their nature only, from their very birth, they will have demonic qualities. They will speak something to hurt others. They don't mind speaking lie. They don't have any gratitude. They take things for granted. They take everything cheaply. They are very selfish in nature, like this. So that's when the prior purport, Srila Prabhupada says, in the Vedic time, Garbhadhan Samskar was done so that the mother and father, they can attract a soul which has a divine nature. So it is a science. When mother and father, they are devotional and they know this scriptural science, then they go for Garbhadhan Samskar so that the child having divine nature, he comes to them and then he takes birth. We see how the mother and father of Ramanujacharya. So before birth of Ramanujacharya, they fasted for 12 years. In the sense, they observed Ekadasi for 12 years, and they would go to one Krishna temple, which is there in Chennai, near Chennai. So for 12 years, they practiced a devotional life based on fasting, based on prayers, and then they conceived a child. And then that is how then later on Ramanujacharya was. Same way we hear about the parents of Yamunacharya. Before conceiving a child, they went to all holy places, they prayed to the Lord, they practiced a lot of devotional service. They came even to Vrindavan. And then later on they got a child and they named him Yamuna. Why? Because they were so much impressed by seeing Yamuna river in Vrindavan. Same way Srila Prabhupada says, even I was very fortunate to have very devotional parents. His father was very devotional and he would pray to Srimati Radharani. So we see that when mother and father, they do Garbhadan Samskar, where they take lot of shelter of holy names, lot of shelter of the process of devotional service. Then they seek blessing from the spiritual master and then they conceive a child. Then the child with divine nature is born. And if not, otherwise, like Srila Prabhupada says, today's civilization has become a civilization of cats and dogs. So most of the children are produced as a byproduct of a passionate enjoyment of mother and father. And what happens is the child is born also with a lot of lust. Child also is born of having a lot of demonic nature. So that's why this word is used, avijatasya. So our birth, then our upbringing, then the environment which we stay around. These three, they affect our nature. So first is the very birth. If our birth is very divine, if our mother and father are very devotional, then the divine being comes. Then the upbringing, after coming of a child also, if the upbringing is very devotional, if upbringing is very full of samskar or full of devotional culture, then the child grabs those devotional sentiments. And third is the environment, the society where we live in. Like unfortunately, there are some families where from very birth the child learns to eat meat. From very birth the child learns to do so many things. In the Western world, we see that they hardly have any culture. So from their upbringing only, the child learns so many bad habits like this. And then the environment, sometimes they are part of some society or religion, like those who are born in Islam, they have to celebrate festival like Bakri Eid and things like that. So the child is brought up in a society where he sees that how on Bakri Eid everyone is cutting the goat and then they are eating it like that. But above all these three also is the free will of living entity. So the birth, upbringing, and environment, they can affect our nature, but they cannot determine our nature because we do have a free will. So, in spite of all this, if a living entity is very serious, if a living entity understands that I have to cultivate divine natures, then in spite of all this, he can cultivate divine nature. We also see some examples where mother and father they are having demonic nature. Child is in a society which is also demonic, but then still we find some child comes out to be very divine because he chooses his free will not to be affected by the upbringing, birth, and the environment. But in general, the birth, upbringing, and the environment it affects. So now, after speaking divine qualities, Krishna here is speaking about the demonic qualities. So now we'll discuss about these demonic qualities which Krishna is speaking here. So Srila Vishwanath Thakur is saying that Lord now speaks of the fruits which cause bondage. In the first three verses, Lord spoke of the fruits which cause elevation or liberation. So divine qualities, they elevate and then they liberate. And the bad qualities or the demonic qualities, they degrade and then they entangle. So now the Lord is speaking of these qualities which cause bondage. First one is Dambaha, pride. So Srila Ramanujacharya, he says, Damba is making show of the practice of dharma for earning a reputation of righteousness. He is defining Damba in this way. And Srila Vishwanath Thakur says, Damba means to announce oneself as religious even though one has a sinful nature. And Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, he says, Damba means performance of religious duties with the intention of being known as a religious person. So in a sense, because during the time of Srila Ramanujacharya and others, by nature, all the people, they were religious. But then there were people who would use religion to show that they are very special. So they are defining in that terms. But nowadays we see Damba means that a person thinks whatever he is doing that is best. He is very proud of his thought process. He is very proud of his theory. He is very proud of his philosophy. And he very much identifies with what he is doing. He feels because of him things are moving. He thinks because of him things are going ahead. So that is Damba, that is pride. The strong sense of I, that is Damba, that is pride. The strong sense of controllership, strong sense of proprietorship, strong sense of enjoyership, that is Damba. We see Srila Prabhupada very briefly only speaks about these qualities in the purport. So Srila Prabhupada starts very nice. He says, in this verse, the royal road to hell is described. So why Srila Prabhupada is saying like this, that these people, although they have these kind of qualities, they're very proud of these qualities and very confidently they walk on this path to go to hell. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying in this verse, the royal road to hell is described like this. So here Srila Prabhupada is speaking in modern terms, that they are proud, arrogant in possessing some type of education or so much wealth. So that is dambaha. Then the second quality mentioned here is darpaha. Darpa means arrogance. So darpa means pride in having a good lineage or knowledge, thinking that one should be respected. So that is darpa. Darpa means arrogance. One becomes arrogant. He thinks that I am so educated. He thinks I am coming from such a high lineage. He thinks everyone should respect me. And he feels these people are low. So that is darpa. And darpa means pride due to wealth, knowledge, and the like. Or he has a lot of wealth, so he is proud that I am so special. These people are supposed to serve me like this. So that is darpa, arrogance. You will find the moment this pride comes, it is followed by arrogance. Because a person feels I am very special, person feels I am, something great. So he feels that if anyone is not respecting me, then he has a right to chastise them. He feels other people who are they deserve to be punished by me. They have no right to question me. So that is darpa, arrogance. We see when King Rahugana saw that the palanquin was stopping again and again, he shouted at Jad Bharat also. Don't you understand? I am king. And why you are giving jerks to the palanquin? You are supposed to serve the king like this. That is darpaha. Then abhimanaha. So see, in one way, all three are related only. Dambah, darpaha, abhimanaha. But the beauty of Sanskrit is that it is very refined in defining the qualities and the emotions. So there is a very fine difference like that. So pride is having a sense of feeling, strong sense of feeling of I, and justifying whatever I am doing and trying to prove that I am still a great person. That is Damba. And Darpa means considering all other people lower than myself. And that's why having a feeling of arrogance towards them. That is Darpa. And then Abhimanaha. So Abhimana, Srila Prabhupada translates as conceit. So Abhimanaha means desire to have respect from others or attachment to wife, son, and other things. So that is abhimanaha. So manaha, as soon as this word comes manaha, so either is where one is expecting respect or giving respect. So abhimanaha means a person is hankering for respect. He feels everywhere people should clap. He feels, his glory should be sung. His biography should be written. In previous times, the kings, they would keep some special people just to glorify him. So their only job was to write poem, to write poetry, to sing songs, glorifying the king. And then he would feel very happy hearing his glories like that. That is abhimanaha, that is conceit. Then krodha, krodha is anger. So anger means when their desires are not fulfilled, when their plans are disturbed, then they become angry. They want things should happen in this way, and if somebody is creating difficulty, then they become angry. They desired something could not get, then they become angry. Then is parusham. So same anger when is expressed in a harsh speech or in an angry speech, that is known as a parusham. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translates Parusham as cruelty, and Srila Prabhupada translates Parusham as harshness, and Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan he translates Parusham means using rough language in front of others. And Srila Ramanujacharya says rudeness. Parusham is the disposition of causing anxiety to good people. So the Parusham means in simple terms anger expressed as speech. So Parushya means a person will speak in a very angry way. He may speak in a very negative way. He may speak in a sarcastic way. to hurt others, to make them feel low. That is Parusham. And then Agyanam. Agyanam means ignorance. He is devoid of intelligence to discriminate what is proper conduct and what is improper conduct. Because they are driven by Damba. So they have their own definition of what is proper conduct and what is improper conduct. So they don't understand, they don't have that discrimination, that refinement, that sensitivity to understand what is proper conduct and what is improper conduct. So they have that lack of discrimination. So these are the qualities which Krishna speak about people of demonic nature. Then the next verse, Devi Sampad Vimokshaya Nibandhaya Surimata Ma Suchaha Sampadam Devi Abhijato Asi Pandava. So now this is beautiful because Krishna spoke about the divine qualities, then Krishna spoke about demonic qualities. So now Arjuna is a very serious hearer. So Arjuna naturally is thinking what Krishna is speaking, how does it relates to me? So Krishna is able to read the mind of Arjuna, what Arjuna is going through, what Arjuna is thinking. So Arjuna is thinking that how these qualities are related to me. Am I of a demonic nature? Because I am trying to fight, I am trying to kill so many people, I am trying to hurt so many people. So then first Krishna speak about that what happens when someone cultivates either of these qualities. So he says that transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation. Demonic qualities, they are conducive for bondage. So first Krishna says, if someone cultivates divine qualities, then he will liberate. Someone cultivates demonic qualities, then he will have bondage. See, one thing is sometimes people take things very cheaply, and sometimes devotees also may take things very cheaply. This transcendental knowledge which we, by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, are receiving, and this transcendental wisdom which by mercy of Srila Prabhupada we are receiving, sometimes we may take cheaply, even if I don't follow these injunctions, what are mentioned in the scriptures, what a great deal, what will happen. See, every decision you take, everything you do, you have to pay price for it. If we are trying our best to abide by the instructions of the scriptures, then we'll be rewarded. And if not, then we'll be punished. Any decision we take, we have to pay price and we have to be ready for it. So if we are not ready to follow the instructions which are mentioned in the scriptures, and we are trying to go towards the demonic nature side, then we'll that much, to that degree, will be entangled in the bondage. Sometimes devotees, they have a very flowery understanding of spiritual life, that oh, I'm just chanting, I'm doing some devotional service, then at least I'll get a human form, and slowly I will see later on. So actually, we may have this kind of flowery understanding, but if our attitude is not good, how Krishna will cheat us, we don't know. How Krishna will reciprocate to our attitude, we don't know. We may get a human birth, but we don't know which place and to which parents, which kind of environment. So that's why, as a devotee, especially, we need to be very sincere at heart that Krishna, I want to genuinely develop these divine qualities. Krishna, I want to come to you. I don't want to be entangled in the material world to suffer again and again. And then all help will be provided by Krishna. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada was saying very beautifully, he was saying, so much Krishna is facilitating to facilitate our desire to forget him. Then just imagine how much Krishna will facilitate if we have a desire to remember him. You see, Brahma is creating five levels of ignorance. Krishna is creating this whole material nature, three modes of material nature. So much is there in the material world to forget Krishna. Why? Because we originally wanted to forget Krishna. And just imagine if you want to remember Krishna, then how much Krishna will facilitate that desire to remember him. So if we don't have that sincerity, then it will be very difficult. And tomorrow we will end up in a situation where we suffer like anything. So one thing is Krishna is talking the seriousness to cultivate these qualities. That if you cultivate divine quality, then you will elevate and have liberation eventually. But if not, then you will have more bondage and you will suffer in a hellish condition. But now, because Arjuna is having this doubt that how this relate to me, and so to clear that doubt, Krishna is speaking, do not worry, O son of Pandu, you are born with divine qualities. Yes. So Srila Vishwanath Thakur gives a very nice commentary explaining the thought process of Arjuna and how Krishna answers. You see, Arjuna is thinking, it appears that I have the asuric traits which will lead to bondage in samsara. Since I desire to kill enemies by shooting arrows, and I am thus filled with cruelty and anger. So to comfort Arjuna, who was thus worried, Lord speaks, do not worry. You are born with Deva qualities, O Pandava. For one born in a Kshatriya family, anger and cruelty during war are prescribed by the scriptures. To do otherwise would make you of the asuric nature, possessing violence and other bad qualities. So to clear the doubt of Arjuna, to comfort Arjuna, Krishna speaks in this way. So in the text 5, Krishna spoke about what happens when we cultivate either of these qualities. Then now the text 6. भूत सर्वलोकेस्मिन् देव असुर एव च देवो विस्तरः सह प्रोक्ता आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु. O son of Pratha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is of divine and another is demonic. Now Krishna is saying, I have already explained you at length about the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demonic. So now we see Krishna spoke only 3 verses. In fact, only the first 3 verses in this chapter Krishna speak of divine qualities. The rest of the chapter Krishna will speak about demonic qualities and the activities of demonic people. But then here Krishna is saying, I have already explained you at length about the divine qualities. So why so? Because if you see Bhagavad Gita as a whole, then Krishna has already spoken about divine qualities at so many places in Bhagavad Gita. So like in chapter 2, Krishna speaks about Sthita Pragya, that how a person who is of divine consciousness, how he sits, how he interacts, how he moves, how he speaks. Then later on also we see in 4th chapter Krishna speaks about Niskam Karma Yogi, how one person performs an action without being attached to the fruit of the action. Then we see in the 12th chapter also Krishna speaks about the devotional qualities. Then we see in the 13th chapter, 13.8 onwards, Krishna speaks about the items of the knowledge, how those who are actually in knowledge have these qualities. So that's why Krishna is saying, I have already explained you at a length about the divine qualities. And now hear from me about the demonic one. So that's why in this chapter, to great length, Krishna speaks about the demonic people. So now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes very beautifully. So Srila Prabhupada says that people are divided into two qualities, two kind of people. One are those who are of divine, second are demonic people. And how we differentiate which are divine, which are demonic, this is very important for us to understand. Only difference is the following the scriptures. So those who follow the authoritative scripture, then they are considered divine. One who does not follow the regulative principles mentioned in the scriptures, they are considered demonic or asura. So for each one of us also, as per our varna, as per our ashram, under the guidance of scriptural authority, through the medium of Guru Sadhu, we have to see that we abide by the instructions of the scriptures. Then only we will be able to come in the fold of divine qualities. If not, then we will be affected by the demonic qualities. And then, see again, Prabhupada is highlighting, there is no other criteria but obedience to the regulative principles of scriptures. That's why one of the prime nature of demonic people is that they have lot of rebellion nature, lot of independent nature. And that's why they have a lot of difficulty to submit themselves to any authority. And that's why naturally they are not able to submit themselves to the scriptural authority also. Even the Guru and Sadhu, they are subservient to scriptural authority. Even Guru and Sadhu, the highest pramana is the scriptures. Even Guru and Sadhu, they guide a living entity as per the scriptural authority. But if a living entity has an independent nature, rebellion nature, who is not ready to submit to any authority, then it is very difficult. Naturally, then he glides down to demonic nature. But if a person understands that the scriptures are a parushaya, they are not man-made, they are coming, they are the sound vibration coming from the Supreme Lord. And then only blessing for me, only hope for me is to what extent I abide and submit to the instructions mentioned in the scriptures. So one part of seriousness of a good sadhaka is that he tries his best to submit to the scriptural authority by the medium of Guru and Sadhu. So something which is written in the scriptures, one should try to align his life. And that is the only difference between divine and demonic. See, now here it is mentioned that both demons and demigods are born from Prajapati. Only difference is one obeys the Vedic injunctions and other does not. This is the only difference. Then pravartim cha nivartim cha jana na vidu ashura na socham na pichacharo na satyam tesu vidyate. So those who are demonic do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So from text 1 to text 9, Krishna is talking about divine and demonic qualities. So 1 to 3 he spoke divine qualities. Now 4 to 9 he is speaking demonic qualities. So now in the text 4 he spoke demonic qualities, and text 5 was to tell Arjuna about the fruit of those demonic qualities and to comfort Arjuna. And then he spoke the text 6, which was before this, where he is saying that how these two kinds of people are there. And then now in the text 7, again he continues the qualities of demonic. So one of the important quality of demonic is they don't know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Why? Because they don't submit to the Vedic authority. And who is the guiding principle for all the humans or for all the living entities? That is our Vedic authority. Because they disobey the Vedic authority, then they lose the discrimination to understand what is to be done, what is not to be done. And this becomes their nature. They don't know what is to be done, what is not to be done. And neither cleanness, nor proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. So Srila Prabhupada says, any civilized society will follow the injunctions mentioned in the scriptures. But the moment a person disobeys the injunctions mentioned in the scriptures, then he becomes a demonic. And then demons naturally, see very beautifully, Prabhupada says, that they do not know scriptural rules, and even if they know, they have an inclination not to follow them. This is how the demons are. One category is they do not know only because they don't want to know also. Second is, even if they know, they have a inclination not to follow them. And you can very easily find such people in society. They say, you know, who cares? It may be written in Bhagavad Gita, it may be written in your scriptures, but who cares? But then later on, they have to suffer. And then demons are not clean either externally or internally. One should always be careful to keep his body and clean by bathing, brushing teeth, shaving, changing clothes, etc. And then internal cleanness will come by chanting the holy names of the Lord. So demonic, they have neither of these. And you see, especially in today's day and age, it is very easy to relate to these demonic qualities. We hear so many stories. There are cases where father is shooting his daughter. There are cases where some teacher is raping with the student. So many such demonic traits and demonic symptoms we see in society. And now it has become so common to have extramarital affairs. Almost every wife has some other person in touch, and every husband has some other girl in touch. So you see the whole society, which direction it is heading to. And why? Because they are disobeying the injunctions mentioned in the scriptures. So the whole society is becoming like cats and dogs, as Srila Prabhupada says. The whole society is becoming so selfish and so much now is getting affected by these demonic qualities. And their behavior also is not as per the rules and regulation mentioned in the scriptures. So like Manu Samhita is a guiding book for humans. So Srila Prabhupada in particularly is focusing on one aspect which uh, demonic people are trying to disobey and not follow. So he says that is giving freedom to women. So as per Manu Samhita, women should always be kept under protection. And Srila Prabhupada says that does not mean that they are a slave. Actually, women in the Vedic society, they were respected a lot. But knowing the nature of women, the society was designed in such a way that they were given protection. It is not that they were kept as a slave. The Vedic women, they had a lot of respect. Because woman respect comes by her chastity, by her purity. And then Srila Prabhupada says, but the demonic people, they have neglected this injunction. And now you see, the social condition of the world has degraded so much. Modern education has artificially devised a puffed up concept of womanly life. Therefore, marriage is practically now an imagination in human society. Actually, sometimes what happens, those who are demonic in nature, they think we know more better. And sometimes they are not able to understand the spirit behind the injunctions which are mentioned in the scriptures. And they feel, see, scriptures, they are so conserved in nature. But we are so open. Women, why women should be kept under protection? Women should be free. Now see what the situation of world has happened. In most of the countries, their population is declining like anything. Why? Because free culture was introduced by those leaders in those countries. Now just imagine when free culture is there to enjoy, then who would like to have children? Now the same leaders are crying, our countries, we are not having children. Now same leaders are giving money to the girls and the boys that please produce children, we will give you money. But why they will produce children? The whole ethos of Grastashram, whole culture of Grastashram, which was based on taking responsibility, keeping Krishna in the center, was destroyed by them. The whole ethos where a woman is a very important aspect of keeping family together was destroyed by them. They, on the name of freeing women, they created a culture of treating women as a object of sexual life. And you see, the whole world is suffering like this now. Most of the countries, no one wants to produce children. Their population is going down. Only the aged people are remaining. Why? Because of this women liberation, like this. The demons therefore do not accept any instruction which is good for society, because they do not follow the experience of great sages and the rules regulations laid down by the sages. So this is one disadvantage or unfortunate situation. Those who are demons, somehow or other, they don't value the experience of great sages. They don't value the instructions given by the Lord himself in the Vedas, and they think we know better. So actually in the Vedic time, a king would rule a kingdom based on the scriptures under the guidance of Brahmanas. He would not make any policy, he would not make any rule which is contrary to the scriptures. But we see today, government and demonic people, they are coming with so many rules which are contrary to the scriptures. And they appear very nice to hear. Oh, women are given liberation. Women are having more empowerment. Women are having more freedom. But then what it is entertaining? It is entertaining more chaos in society. It is entertaining more adultery in the society that they are not able to see. That's why Srila Prabhupada, although in America, he was so boldly defending this because he had faith in the scriptures. Srila Prabhupada was so openly speaking that this woman empowerment is by those demonic people who want to enjoy women. Now you see, no male wants to take responsibility of women. Women are filling petrol, women are driving auto, women are driving taxi. Why? Because people are enjoying and then running away. And so many court cases have increased. You go practically previously, hardly any person would have a divorce. First divorce in India happened in 1980s. Now, if you go, so many court cases of divorce, property disputes, that how much property should go to which partner. So we see that what chaos it has brought because of not following the Vedic injunctions. And then further he says, Asatyam apritishtam te jagat ahod aniswaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kama hetukam. So now this verse, this is text number 8. So here Krishna is talking about that what are their thought process, how they see things. So first thought process of demonic people is to defy the existence of God itself. So they say world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So Srila Prabhupada is saying demonic conclude that the world is the phantasmagoria. There is no cause, no effect, no controller, no purpose. Everything is unreal. And what you see so much, this is just an reaction of action and reaction. They say like, mother and father, they come together, they sexually meet, then a child is produced. Same way, so much production is happening in the world. They say otherwise there is no cause. See how unfortunate it is when a scientist they make a one pin also, they will have a patent for it. हमने ये special pin बनाया है. They make a small thing, for that they will have a this much thick paper publishing it that how we could design this. But such a huge creation is in place, and they say it is by chance. Small seed you put in the ground, and then the mango comes, which is so sweet. And you ask a scientist how it came, they'll say अपने आप आ गया. आप मैंगो फ्रूटी बनाने के लिए उसके आपका इतना बड़ा पेपर रहेगा कि क्या केमिकल डालते हैं, कैसे प्रोसेस करते हैं, कितने टेम्परेचर पे करते हैं, क्या क्या इंग्रेडिएंट्स डालते हैं. But you see, from nowhere, the water becomes sweet and it is so tasty and it is so healthy. And they say it is by chance. They will make one satellite, and for that, they will have such huge team and papers to give direction how everything is functioning. And such huge planets are revolving around, they say, apne aap ho raha hai. Like that. So this is their philosophy to defy the existence of God. Why? To break our faith on the scriptures, to break our faith on the Vedic authority. when the Britishers they came to India, they were mesmerized seeing the faith of Indians on the Gurukul system and on the Vedic scriptures. And they thought if you want to rule over India, we have to break their Gurukul system and break their faith on the scriptures. And then they started interpreting our scripture, and it has become a common affair in modern world today. People say scriptures mythology. People say God, we don't know. Why? Because so much systematic propaganda is done by demonic people to somehow or other take faith of people away from God. What to say of in other countries, even in India. In India also you find the atheistic people are so much increasing. It is so sorry to say people they say, why to worship God? Why to know about God? Their life has become like that because they are so much bombarded by atheistic propaganda. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport that this is a thought process of such demonic people. They say everything is matter only. Everything is marks of ignorance. According to them, everything is void. This is Buddhist people, they say. Everything is void. And whatever manifestation is due to our ignorance in perception. Then Prabhupada writes very beautifully. They say that everything is dream, but they are very expert in enjoying that dream. Well, so they have a philosophy that everything is dream, but they are very expert in enjoying in the dream. They conclude that as a child is simply a result of sexual intercourse between man and woman, this world is born without any soul. For them, it is only a combination of matter which has produced living entities, and there is no question of the existence of soul. Like creatures come out from perspiration and from a dead body without any cause, the whole living world has come out of material combinations of cosmic manifestation. Therefore, material nature is the cause of this manifestation, and there is no other cause. So, all these philosophies are there in the world, the philosophy of voidism, philosophy of nullism. So, same is the philosophy which is coming from these demonic people. And then Prabhupada says very beautifully, every one of them has some particular theory of his own. And everyone is very proud of their theory. And they are running like this. But just imagine what weight we should give to theories of such people who themselves are having bad qualities, bad habits, and who themselves will die after few years. But the scriptures, they are aparushaya. They are the instructions of the Lord Himself. And you see the caliber of people who follow those scriptures. You see the caliber of people who believed those scriptures. You see the life of our acharyas. You see Srila Sukdev Goswami. The ladies are naked, taking bath, and he's naked. But still he's going without getting agitated and affected. Even the ladies are telling to Vyasdev that this son of yours does not see difference between the body. He sees the difference between the soul and the body. But we see those who are demonic in nature, then they have this kind of understanding that everything is coming by some material cause and there is no higher cause than what they think like this. So now, after this, text number 9. Etam drishtim avastabhya नास्तात्मानो अल्पबुद्धया प्रभवन्ति उग्रकर्माणः क्षयाय जगतो हिता. Following such conclusions, the demonic who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible work meant to destroy the world. So because they don't know anything, but they are very strong. So in English, there is one saying that foolish are confident and wise are doubtful. So these demonic people, although their philosophy is totally demonic, it has no basis, but whatever it is, they are very confident about what they think. And that's why you see their propaganda is more powerful than the wise people like devotees. They are doubtful about what they are doing. Although our philosophy is based on truth, although our philosophy is being practiced by the greatest of the people in the world, but still we are doubtful. You see, we don't have that level of impetus which demonic people have to spread their philosophy, their theory, their ideology, their thought process. But we as devotees, we sometimes become happy and comfort in our own life. ठीक है, मैं chanting कर लूंगा, मैं reading कर लूंगा, मैं hearing कर लूंगा, प्रभु जी बुलाएंगे तो class attend. बस. He does not feel the need that अरे, I should also share this. The whole world is suffering. If demonic people will keep spreading their philosophy, what will happen to the world? And if the wise people will remain mum, then what will happen to the divine message which Lord has given? Like this. So we see these demons, they have a very confident approach. So although they don't have any intelligence, although they are in ignorance, whatever they are thinking is actually will take whole society in wrong direction. But they are very confident and they are very hardworking and they are very busy. And then they are busy in having such horrible works which will destroy the whole world. So they are engaged in activities which will lead the world to destruction. The materialists who have no concept of God, they think that they are advancing. But according to Bhagavad Gita, they are unintelligent and devoid of all sense. Like, see, it will not be surprised to know after a few years in Western world, already it has started happening. Uh, like in Western world, the same sex marriage is legalized. A male can marry to a male, female can marry to a female. And in the Western world, like in Japan, the way you rent a house, same way you can rent a girl also. And that is legalized. Like for 15 days, you can rent a girl and then you can keep her. So just imagine when these kind of philosophies are coming and promoted, sooner time will come that marriage will become a outdated idea. No one will marry. Now just imagine the moment marriage goes off from the society, what kind of society will become? The people, they'll become so lusty. And what kind of people will take birth? All one Sankara will take birth. But we see such a heavy propagation. There was one person in US itself, when he came to know how abortion happens, so he developed a lot of feeling that this should be stopped. Because the way the fetus, the child is conscious inside. And then the machine goes inside and cuts the child into pieces, then makes it a plum and then makes it contract and then take it out. So actually he wanted to make a movie on this to make people aware that how painful it is and how it should be stopped. So there were many big people, they tried stopping that movie to release on, and it was never released. There is a document about it. All the big people, they started funding to stop the release of this movie so that people don't come to know that how abortion is so painful and is bad for the child. So you see such a big propaganda these demonic people they are doing. So they are planning and they are working hard to not only go hell to hell themselves, but to take everyone to hell. Recently, one person in IIT Chennai, he did a research and he proved that how cow urine is having a antiseptic properties. And the paper was published. And there is one person, he is a director of Hotmail. So he writes, I feel so pain to see educated people are speaking like this. अभी देखिए रिसर्च करके पब्लिश किया है उसमें भी उसको विश्वास नहीं। और क्या बोल रहा है, एजुकेटेड लोगों को ऐसी बातें नहीं करनी चाहिए कि काउ यूरिन अच्छा है। बट एजुकेटेड लोगों को कैसी बात करना चाहिए कि फ्री सेक्स अच्छा है, गे कल्चर अच्छा है, लेस्बियन कल्चर अच्छा है। ये एजुकेटेड क्लास है मतलब। Then Srila Prabhupada says this verse anticipates the invention of nuclear weapons also. So demonic people, they create everything for destruction and everything for degradation of society. So like in America, they invented a policy that parents cannot slap a child. You see, from childhood, the children are getting spoiled. Whereas our Vedic culture is that when children they are small, Tadiyat, they should be beaten up, they should be disciplined. That is the age to discipline. Same way we see now such kind of weapons they are creating, and now everyone is talking about World War. So once the World War starts, and once these weapons जो उन्होंने दीपावली के लिए रखे हुए हैं, एक दिन जब वो दीपावली होगा, then you'll find so many people they will lose their life. वो इतने weapons रखे हैं तो यूज तो होंगे. One person has written and he says it is a history that it never happened in the history that any weapon was made and it was not used. ऐसा हिस्ट्री में कभी नहीं हुआ कि कोई वेपन बना और वो यूज नहीं हुआ. आप देखेंगे न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स भी बने और यूज हो भी गए. ऑलरेडी अमेरिका ने यूज किया उनको, जापान में. एंड नाउ व्हेन थर्ड वर्ल्ड वॉर बिगिंस श्योरली दे विल बी यूज्ड. And you see what level of mass destruction it will bring forth. That's how the godless society is. So Baldev Vidyabhushan, for this 9th verse, he writes purport. He says, the stem indicates the whole class of demonic philosophies. Taking support avastabhya of their philosophy, these foolish people with worthless opinion, alpa buddhaya, devoid of understanding atma, distinct from the body, fixed in action of violence, slander and insult, being enemies of the world, deviate the world from spiritual truth. बहुत स्पेशल वे में उन्होंने जो है इसको परपोर्ट लिखा है. बलदेव विद्याभूषण क्या बताते हैं? Being confident of their philosophy and having their worthless opinion, not understanding about the soul, and fixed in the actions of violence, slander, and insult, being enemies of the world, they deviate the whole world from spiritual truth. So, Shayaya Prabhavanti, like that. So it is very unfortunate, and we see Srila Prabhupada when he would read such philosophies, when he would hear such philosophy, his heart would cry in pain that how come these demonic people are so much entertained in the society. So at least we should also understand that pain of Acharya, how much they have worked hard to give this divine wisdom which Krishna has given. And we should also try our best to our capacity, where we can also become humble instrument in spreading these divine teachings which we have received. And at least those people who come in our touch, at least they will be benefited. And in that way, we can play our role in the society. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue from now, text 10, in the next class, that is next Monday. If anyone has any question to ask, they can ask. Yes, Neelmani, thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. थैंक यू प्रभु जी, आपने बहुत अच्छा एक्सप्लेन किया ये जो मॉडर्न सोसाइटी है इनका प्रोग्रेस. और प्रभु जी ऐसे हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे एक बार अपने दोस्तों के साथ कंपनी में, तो उनसे बता रहे थे कि अगर हम लोग वैदिक सभ्यता को अपनाएंगे तो एक्चुअल में जो हैप्पीनेस है या फिर हमारा जो गोल हो प्राप्त करेंगे. तो वो बता रहे थे उस समय कुछ तो चल रहा था, तो बता रहे थे अगर हम लोग प्रोग्रेस नहीं करेंगे, जैसे कि एआई आ रहा है, इसके बाद फिर रोबोटिक्स आएगा, तो अगर हम लोग नहीं प्रगति करेंगे तो अदर कंट्री वाले बहुत प्रगति करेंगे, फिर उसके कारण हमें प्रॉब्लम्स आएगा, तो हम उनके साथ नहीं चल पाएंगे तो दिक्कत करेंगे. इसको हम कैसे समझा सकते हैं प्रजू उनको कि कितना हमारा इम्पोर्टेंट है.
यस, तो जो रिफाइंड डिमोनिक लोग हैं वो हमेशा इस टाइप का एक्सक्यूज देते हैं कि स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ करेंगे तो एआई का क्या होगा, एडवांसमेंट का क्या होगा, टेक्नोलॉजी का क्या होगा. सी अवर स्क्रिप्चर्स आर नेवर अगेंस्ट दिस. ऐसा नहीं है कि जो वैदिक टाइम में राजा लोग होते थे वो पुरानी बंदूक रखते थे अपने पास में और चैंटिंग करते रहते थे. दे हैड लेटेस्ट ऑफ वेपन्स, दे हैड बेस्ट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. लेकिन हम किसके अगेंस्ट है? डिमोनिक थॉट प्रोसेस के अगेंस्ट हैं, हम भगवान से दूर जाने के अगेंस्ट हैं, हम डिमोनिक क्वालिटीज के अगेंस्ट हैं। तो अगर आपके पास बहुत अच्छा टेक्नोलॉजी भी आ गया लेकिन लोगों का कैरेक्टर इतना कम है, तो टेक्नोलॉजी का क्या फायदा? वो टेक्नोलॉजी का तो मिसयूज ही होगा। आपने इंटरनेट जो है अपना लिया, अभी इंटरनेट मैक्सिमम किस चीज के लिए लोग यूज कर रहे हैं? पोर्नोग्राफी देखने के लिए यूज कर रहे हैं। तो क्या फायदा हुआ आपका? तो वैदिक कल्चर क्या बोल रहा है कि आप पहले अच्छा व्यक्ति बनाइए और उसके साथ में आप टेक्नोलॉजी और बाकी चीजें कीजिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। आप इस्कॉन में देखिए, हम कौन सा टेक्नोलॉजी यूज नहीं करते हैं, सब कुछ यूज करते हैं जो बेस्ट है। बट वी ट्राई टू यूज इट in connection with the Lord and for the service of the Lord. So that is very important. Spiritual life improves a person in all aspects. He becomes a good father, good son, good citizen, good student, good professor, good IITian, good scientist, good AI professional, good ISRO researcher. In all aspect he will grow. तो जब अगर डिवोटी है वो, तब वो एआई बनाएगा, तो उसके जो डिसएडवांटेज हैं उसको वो पहले से कम कर देगा, और उसका जो पॉजिटिव तरीके से वो यूज हो सकती है उसी में उसको वो डेवलप करेगा। So we have to focus on developing these divine qualities, accepting our Vedic wisdom, and then you find everything will happen. Is it okay, Ranman, that I do?
Yeah, yes, भाई, thank you भाई।
Yes, Umang. Hare Krishna, Umang.
Hare Krishna. Puji, I just want to know, Puji, in our
Not.
scripture, Puji, is now audible, Puji?
You can be little louder. Yes.
Yes, Puji. So, Puji, we have read, Puji, they were under our time. The people, we have three legions. Hare Krishna, am I audible, Puji?
Audible but not clear. आप बोलो,
Puji,
दोबारा बोलो।
now better, Puji.
Tell me, tell
Huh.
me.
So, Puji, there were three genders, Puji, in our scriptures: male, female, and transgender, Puji. So
Okay.
basically that was made based on bodily description, like male and female combined have a that. So basically their modern culture says now, since it's a physical classification, let's have a more subtle classification based on attraction, on which you are feeling attracted to. That's why they created these kind of a LGBTQ kind of a community. So considering going from physical to subtle, they say it's an advancement. Which also makes sense because subtlety level we have like created a uni of like all uni like consider
Yeah, I understood. See, demonic people always will have a
the uni
justification.
of like all uni like consider
Yeah, I got your question. My point is, demonic people will always have some philosophy to justify what they are doing makes more better sense or is more better. But actually, if you see the result, then you will find whatever they are proposing or thinking, that is backfiring. So there are many cases where people, because when you say at subtle level, to understand your subtle level, you need to have certain level of purity in your consciousness. Now there is no subtle level, there is no gross level, only level is sense gratification. So there are cases in America where people first they thought that I feel attraction for a male, and then they tried enjoying a male. Then later on they were not happy. Then they thought actually I should be female and I should be enjoyed. Then they became a female. And then later on they started lamenting, अरे क्या हो गया, मेरे को फीमेल बॉडी में खुश नहीं हूँ। अब क्या है, वो पूरा ऑपरेशन और जो पूरा प्रोसेस है वो बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है और पेनफुल है। नाउ दे कांट many times go back to become a male and then the whole life they cry. क्यों? क्योंकि भाई ग्रॉस बॉडी तो उसको फीमेल का हो गया, शटल बॉडी मेल का है। तो क्या है, वो शटल लेवल पे उनको इतना ट्रॉमा महसूस होता है। इसलिए तो साइकेट्री बिजनेस इतना बढ़ रहा है। क्यों बढ़ रहा है साइकेट्री बिजनेस? क्योंकि सटल लेवल पे इन लोगों ने हर चीज को बर्बाद कर दिया। व्हाट इज साइकेट्री? डीलिंग विद द सटल बॉडी। और शटल लेवल पे आप कैसे समझ सकते हो जब आप ग्रॉसली इतना सिंफुल हो, ग्रॉसली आप इतना सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन करते हो? सो दे से लाइक दिस But actually, if you do a survey, you yourself will come to know. You meet some people like this, you see how happy are they? They are not happy. Whereas in our Vedic culture, there were three genders and they were happy in their place, in their position. Okay, Umang Bro?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. Our this Aman who has written, the nature of demonic person is that he does not know what to do, what not to do. Sometime in our case, some service comes, but we do not know what step should I take for that. So is that also one of the demonic nature? No, this will come in innocence. So we can go and inquire and understand about what all we are supposed to do in that service. Okay, so thank you very much. Yes, Ashish, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful session. Prabhuji, actually, after hearing so many about the scriptures, एक thought ऐसा आ रहा है, like बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो आजकल ऐसा कहते हैं कि that happiness is the state of mind. जो जिस भी चीज को हम अच्छा मानते हैं तो सर्टेनली अगर वो चीज हमारे पास रहेगा देन वी विल बी हैप्पी. So what is the argument of other people who are not following the God? What they say, because earlier there was a propaganda that chastity, loyalty for a woman, that is important, and that is why women used to consider these things as the basis, like as the parameters for being happy and these kinds of things. But really they were not at all happy because propaganda was at उस टाइम पे वैसा प्रोपेगेंडा था तो
ओके, तो
इसीलिए ऐसा लगता
सिंपल
है.
है, तो इसको ना आप रिजल्ट के ओरिएंटेशन से देख सकते हो। दे बिलीव मोर इन रिजल्ट, राइट? तो आप बताइए, पहले डाइवोर्स ज्यादा होते थे या अभी डाइवोर्स ज्यादा होते हैं? पहले रिलेशनशिप प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा होती थी, मैरिटल रिलेशनशिप अफेयर ज्यादा होते थे या अभी होते हैं? पहले रेप्स ज्यादा होते थे या अभी होते हैं? यू सी द रिजल्ट ना। करेक्ट नो? और वो जो डेमोनिक पर्सन है उससे खुद ही पूछना, आपकी पत्नी अगर चेस्ट है, लॉयल है, आप वैसी पत्नी चाहेंगे या आपकी पत्नी जो है किसी और व्यक्ति के साथ संबंध रखती है वैसी पत्नी चाहेंगे? उस डेमोनिक व्यक्ति से पूछ लेना।
यस जी.
दे प्रोपगेट ऑल दीज आइडियाज, लेकिन जब खुद की पत्नी चूज करनी होती है तो फिर वो इस्कॉन मंदिरों में जाएंगे या किसी रिलीजियस प्लेस में जाएंगे।
यस जी, थैंक यू.
See, we should understand that all these demonic people, they have demonic propaganda. We should not get affected by that propaganda, and for that we have to hear Srila Prabhupada lectures very nicely, Srila Prabhupada books, and we should try our best to propagate devotional propaganda, which our acharyas are giving. जैसे आप यूपीएससी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, इफ यू क्रैक एंड इफ यू गो टू एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पोस्ट एंड पोजीशन, you should use your position to propagate this devotional propaganda. Otherwise, in time to come, you will find whole world will suffer like anything. आप इंडिया में देखो सिचुएशन कैसा हो गया है। आप कभी ये सिविल कोर्ट में आप जाइए, उसमें बस किसी भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में आप चले जाइए, उनसे बस पूछिए कि कितने ज्यादा डाइवोर्स के केसेस हैं आपके पास में। वो नंबर सुन के ही आपको एक रियलाइजेशन आ जाएगा। ठीक है।
थैंक यू.
हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू वेरी मच। प्रभुपाद की जय।